Oui, ça, c'est des discussions qu'on a eues ensemble. Trevor, nous avec lui, moi, hier. C'est certain, comme je dis, il y a toujours un risque, mais écoute, dans le repêchage, il y a une place pour un joueur comme ça. Puis, on a décidé de le prendre à 26, mais comme tu vois, son charme, sa personnalité, moi, je vois ça comme du positif.
Qu'est-ce que ça dit sur lui qu'il soit capable d'apprendre l'anglais en seulement...
Écoute, moi, ça m'a pris 5 ans. Fait qu'il est en avant de moi. Puis je parle pas encore bien.
What jumped out at you when you met him yesterday? You said you met him for the first time yesterday. What was the main thing that you came away from that meeting?
This desire to play in the NHL. I mean, just the fact that he came to Saskatoon as a young player and wanted to play in the WHL, wanted to be in North America. I mean, he could easily stay in Russia and be comfortable there, but you know, his goal, his dream is to play in the NHL one day, and that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to meet him yesterday.
C'est un risque de sélectionner un russe, mais justement, pourquoi dans ce cas-là, vous pensez que ça allait le coup et qu'il allait rester?
Écoute, il n'y a pas de garantie. Là. Il n'y en a aucune. Je peux pas me mettre ici pour vous dire que jamais il va aller jouer en Russie. C'est impossible. Mais dans le repêchage, il y a une place pour un joueur comme ça. Avec ce talent-là, il y a un endroit. Peut-être pas dans les 10 premiers à cause de ce facteur-là, je ne peux pas vous dire, mais il y a une place dans le repêchage. Puis nous, on a pris la décision qu'à 26, ça valait la peine.
Why do you think the organization has had this success with Russian-born players, be it Markov or Yemelin? Why do you think you guys have done well in that part of the world in terms of your scouting?
Oh, because maybe the weather in Russia is the same as Montreal, so they feel like at home.
Trevor mentioned yesterday that you would be willing, maybe a bit more willing to...
And by the way, I'm allowed to say that because I'm from Montreal. It's my hometown, and I love Montreal, so it's okay for me to say that.
You're lucky that you mentioned that. But he said that at 26, you'd be maybe a little more willing to take kind of a home run swing than you would otherwise, just because it's late and just the way the draft kind of was this season. Is this, do you consider this like a home run swing this pick? Or?
Well, time will tell. It could be one. It's way too early to tell, but like I mentioned, guys with that type of talent and skill, usually they go before late first.
You talked a lot about the character yesterday, and you mentioned it briefly. Just how did the interview process go, and how was he able to communicate to you during that interview process?
Well, we had with us our Russian scout, and he sat in the room with us, and never once he looked at him and said something in Russian that he couldn't say. So he's trying hard. And I mean, listen, my English not the best, but I could understand him, and he could understand me, so that's a good sign. And never once he looked at our Russian scout and said, "Please help me out." So we came in here and spent time in Saskatoon and English environment, and he's willing to learn, and that's, to me, that shows a lot of character. But again, time will tell.
Marc, est-ce que le fait que la rencontre que vous avez eue avec lui hier et tout ça, est-ce que soudainement ça a vraiment fait élever son statut? Parce que là, vous avez été beaucoup plus convaincu.
Non, je ne dirais pas que ça aurait fait lever, mais ça nous aurait assuré qu'on avait à une place qu'on était confortable pour le repêcher.
Au niveau de talent, si tu comparais ce choix-là au 5 et en Ontario, qui avait le même genre d'aptitude, vitesse, main, statistique, qu'est-ce qui différencie ces deux joueurs-là?
De quel l'Ontario? La différence entre lui et au 5? Oui. Moi, je l'ai vu jouer une fois. Au 5, je l'ai vu jouer une fois aussi. Fait que, personnellement, je ne peux pas dire exactement avec les détails la différence. C'est qu'on était confortable avec lui. Puis au 5, c'est un talent aussi, j'enlève rien, là, mais pour nous, on aime ce joueur-là un peu plus.
There was a lot of transition in Saskatoon this year. They started out with a few big players, but towards the end of the year, it seemed like he had to do everything on his own. Did that make a big difference for you guys going forward?
Well, we talked about that. Their team was not a top team. You know, they struggled. They were, maybe a bottom team. So he wasn't surrounded by a lot of talent, but again, he showed the character to go over there, and to me, that's the main thing. I mean, there's always a risk. There'll always be a risk. But the fact that he came over at a young age and willing to play in Saskatoon WHL, that was a big plus.